In this video, I'm going to go through everything you need to know before going on your trip to Isla Holbox, from the best things to do on the island, some really good places to eat, and everything you should know before getting to the island of Holbox. So let's get into it. Hey guys, for those of you who are new here, my name is Joe. I'm a travel content creator who has recently traveled all over Mexico. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any future travel content from Mexico. So let's get into the video. Holbox Island is a small island north of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. For you to get to Holbox Island, you're actually going to first have to go to Chiquila, which is a small fishing village. There are three ways to get there. So you can either get there by bus, you can take a shuttle if you're with a large group of friends, or if you're a huge baller, you can take a private plane that would get there, but obviously that is super expensive. The bus ride from Cancun to Chiquila will take you about 2.5 hours. Once you get off the bus, it's actually really convenient. It's super easy to find the ferry station. You basically just turn right and go down the street like 2 or 3 minutes and you'll get to the station. There are two ferry companies you can go with. There's the Holbox Express, that's the company that we went with, or there's 9 Hermanos, and it costs us 220 pesos each for the ferry ride there. We didn't really see a huge difference between either company. We just kind of took the first one that was leaving, and every company goes every half an hour, so they flip one after the other. I wouldn't worry too much about booking in advance. There's always going to be ferries available for you to get there, and it takes you about 20 to 25 minute ferry ride to get to Holbox. The island of Holbox is really well known. This is kind of its claim to fame, is that there are no vehicles on the island. I'll put a little asterisk beside that. Basically, instead of getting a taxi, you would get like a golf cart taxi. It's actually really funny. They're like all painted yellow. There is a pricing system, and I'll post it up right now, that kind of sections it off depending where your hotel is. I think you should take a cab when you get there because you're going to have all of your luggage, and a lot of the roads are really muddy and kind of messy, so you're going to be dragging your luggage through that, and it's going to be a huge pain. So there's basically 3 ways to get around the island. You can either rent a bike, you can rent one of the golf carts, or you can also rent one of the ATVs. For our bike rentals, it's really easy to find one. You can most likely just even get one from your hotel. Our hotel did it by hour. They did it for half day or full days. I would think of it more as like it'll cost you about 300 pesos for the full day. That's what they were asking for us, and I think that's about the average in the island. And this is definitely one of the better things to do on the island. It is a really good way to see a lot of it. The golf carts are quite a bit more expensive than the bikes. It's about 1,700 pesos for getting one of those golf carts for the day. You can also rent an ATV for the day. I'm not 100% sure how much those cost, but I would expect it to be quite a lot more than the golf carts. So if you have the budget for it, then that's awesome. We walked a lot when we were on Holbox, but I would recommend for at least one day or maybe a few hours to grab a bike. You'll definitely get to see a lot more of the island that way. Definitely the number one thing that you can do on Holbox and what it's well known for, this is a huge thing on my bucket list, is swimming with whale sharks. But you do have to keep in mind that this is a seasonal thing. You can only do it between the months of June and September. We went there in January, so we weren't actually able to do it, which is really shitty. This is one of the biggest things that I've wanted to do for so long. It'll cost you about 3,000 pesos each to do the whale shark excursion. Another really cool experience you can do on Holbox is actually their bioluminescence tour. So basically, these phytoplankton in this little pool near Holbox will light up at night. They will pick you up and you'll go at about midnight. We were really hesitant to do it because we heard from some people that it depends the time of year that you go. One thing you do have to keep in mind with the bioluminescence tour is that you do need it to be pitch black to see anything. If the moon is out or if there's any light whatsoever, it's apparently really hard to see anything. What we were worried about, that we were going to pay for this excursion and then we wouldn't be able to see anything. Our last day we were there, we talked to a local and he said that it was fine to do any time of the year. So if you are going to Holbox, 100% you have to do this excursion, and it'll cost you about 300 pesos each person. Obviously, one of the biggest things you're going to do when you're there is chill on the beach. There are miles and miles and stretches of beach there, so there's tons of beach clubs, there's a lot of restaurants, and there's tons of places that you can go and kind of just chill in a hammock.
We're gonna look for Alma Bar. We've heard a lot of really good things about it. It's basically like a pool lounge. Made it to Alma Beach Bar. We've got the day bed. It's a little expensive, but it's my Christmas gift. So it's 300 pesos for half of it, but there's nobody else there right now, so hopefully nobody else shows up. You get to go to the pool. It's just stunning.
They also have this sweet lookout tower that you can go up, and it's probably one of the best views you'll see of the beach in Holbox.
If you are in Holbox and you do feel like having like a pool lounge experience, I would strongly suggest coming here because it's very cool. The layout is amazing. The food, well, the food's small portions, but come here to drink.
One thing to keep in mind for the beaches in Holbox is that they're actually quite shallow. Like you can go out really, really far away and you'll still be about like waist high. So it's not the greatest like beach to go swimming and all that stuff. It's more for just kind of laying and chilling on the beach. Holbox is actually the perfect place to catch one of their most epic sunsets. But what I recommend doing is actually going all the way down to the west side of the island. We're doing a 2-kilometer walk actually to the nicest beach on the island called Playa Punta Cocos. This is the southwest side of the island. It's supposed to be the best vantage point to see the sunset. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why we're going. But you can see it's like far more rural. It's basically just a lot of hotels, or there's a lot of them that are under construction. And besides that, there's not really too much else here. We're like the only ones that walked here because we're really stubborn, but I think that we're finally here, so it's all worth it. We were walking for quite a while just looking for some shaded areas around here, and it was actually pretty hard to find something. All the beach bars were completely taken too, like all the chairs and everything. But it's really, really a nice beach. Apparently it goes like there's people way out there. I think it's quite shallow for very far. Coconut time.
Uno vale 100 pesos, dos 200. 200 two coconut.
200 coconut, okay.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, they taste good.
There's a guy with a trolley that was coming down the beach and he was offering some coconuts, so we grabbed some of those. A little expensive, it's 200 pesos for both of them, but Alicia says it's good. I'm having a hard time grabbing this with one hand. Oh, it is really good. And also make sure to come prepared to this beach because there's only 2 beach bars and I think they mostly just offer like alcoholic drinks. We didn't bring like any food or any water. We just grabbed 2 small water bottles and it was 80 pesos just for those, which is like 4 times more expensive than a convenience store. So just make sure to grab some like water bottles and snacks and stuff because everything around here is really, really expensive. We're just sitting here waiting for the sunset. We still have like 3 hours to go. So Alicia had a good idea to actually do, we're gonna try coconut bowling. She saw it on Instagram. So we're gonna try and set that up as something to do.
And 2 more sticks. There's some big bugs.
Wow.
It's not that easy. Nope. I know.
Well, that was good at entertaining us for like 10 minutes, but now we're bored. We couldn't last, we were too bored. Another popular thing to do in Holbox too is the 3 island tour. We decided not to do this excursion, but we talked to a lot of people that have done this one and they really, really liked it. So this is definitely an option for you if you go to Holbox. Today, we are probably doing Alicia's favorite thing to do on Isla Holbox.
We're going to walk some dogs.
So we're heading to the animal rescue right now. And you can actually just walk some of their dogs around. So we're gonna go there right now and check it out. We don't have many demands, but we're demanding for a Chihuahua. Are you coming out?
Do you think we can go in here? Oh. Yes, 100%. They're so sweet.
You can also adopt one of the animals or leave a small donation to help support them. We've gone to my favorite category in this video, and this is where to eat. The first place that I recommend you eating at is for breakfast. It's called, I have to look, Pineapple. It's spelled really weird, but I think it's pronounced pineapple. And this is the best place to get if you want some fresh fruit. So they have a lot of smoothie bowls and it's a lot more like healthier options for breakfast. But we've heard a lot of good things, so we decided to check it out, and the food was honestly so freaking good. You're definitely gonna have to make a reservation to get to this restaurant. You won't be able to just show up. We tried to get in twice without making a reservation and it was like an hour wait. And our second place is a little bit more of a hidden gem. It's called Limunus. It's basically a breakfast place that's right on the beach. This is one of our best budget options for breakfast, and you can get some really, really good breakfast. So we got avocado toast there with a coffee. and the prices there were quite reasonable, especially for Holbox, that is known to be quite expensive. This next place like changed my life. It is called El Hornito Argento, and it is an Argentinian place. This is my first time ever having empanadas, and my life will never be the same anymore with chimichurri. I 100% recommend if you go there to get their empanadas. They are 50 pesos each. It is literally some of the best food I've ever had in my whole life. You need to go to this place if you're going to Holbox. It is so good. You're not going to regret going. If you're looking for somewhere cheap to maximize your money and you want to grab some tacos, then the next place that I recommend is Taco Keto. So we're waiting to go somewhere to eat. We killed time by eating at one of our other favorite places just so that we could go eat.
Apparently the best, cheapest, most famous tacos.
If you're really wanting some authentic tacos, then definitely go to this place. They have tons and tons of different kinds of stuff that I'm not even gonna name because there's so many. And just talking around with people on the island, they actually said that this was the best tacos in all of Mexico, or even the whole world, I think he actually said. For dinner, I recommend that you go to Art Sano, which is a vegan restaurant. If you've never been to a vegan restaurant before, I've actually found in my travels some of the best places that we've eaten at were vegan places, so you should definitely give it a chance. This is like the vegan's twist on a ceviche, so a classic Mexican dish. And it's actually like, we've had a few ceviches here and this is better than actual ceviche that we've had. It's like really, really good. I recommend getting some watermelon juice and getting their Mayan. They have these like Mayan Vietnamese rolls that are filled with guacamole. This is by far our favorite place in Holbox. I wanted to talk a little bit about the ATM and cash situation on Isla Holbox. It is really, really well known that there aren't too many ATMs in Holbox. There's actually quite a bit more than I expected, but there are issues where you're trying to take cash out and the ATM either loses connection or it runs out of cash. You should bring basically as much Mexican pesos as you can because it's very, very unreliable. Like, we went to the grocery store, there was a guy that was in front of us and he was trying to buy some stuff with his debit card and it just kept losing connection and crashing, so it wasn't working for him. And we've actually heard of quite a few people that have had this same problem. So they do take credit cards, but you run the risk where it might not work. So you should definitely bring some cash with you. I'm not sure what to call this category. I guess I'm gonna call it just expectations versus reality. So you are going to get a little bit of a different picture than what you might think from what social media and kind of the tourism and everything from that region is showing you of Holbox. You see a lot on Instagram, these pristine, super clean, white sandy beaches. But in reality, the one biggest issue we had when we went to Holbox was actually all the seaweed that was there. There was huge piles of seaweed just built up. Even from doing my research, people kept saying there was no seaweed. They do try their best to clean it up and kind of manage it, so it's not too bad. If you head down east more on the beach, it gets better and better. So if you head down there for about 10 or 20 minutes and just walk down, there's a lot less seaweed than kind of the main part of Holbox. Bring a lot of bug spray. I'm telling you, like, when we were walking around at night, we were getting absolutely eaten alive. And we were there in January at the time of the year when it's apparently not even bad, and we were still getting eaten alive. There is also such slow Wi-Fi, like really, really slow Wi-Fi. If you are like a digital nomad, don't really expect that to go too well. So many times I try and upload stuff online for YouTube or whatever it was, and it just wouldn't work. And it goes a lot for the cell service as well. But this is island vibes. I don't find it the hugest deal. Like, you're going to Holbox to kind of disconnect anyway, and I think that's like a really good part of it. But it is something to be aware of and to just keep in mind. And I wanted to talk a little bit at like the little asterisks that I put up about there being no cars or anything like that. There are cars, like there's a lot of industrial kind of trucks, and a lot of the locals will do it because obviously they need that for construction. I get that. But there's a lot of mopeds, and even if you don't count the golf carts and ATVs that basically are kind of vehicles, there was a lot of traffic going around. So that is something that you need to kind of, especially when you go like more in the downtown part of Holbox that's a little busier, it is quite congested. It was a lot busier than we expected. You do get the island vibes, but it is a lot busier. So it is something that you should expect kind of when you get there. Also wanted to quickly touch up on accommodation. I wanted to show you my experience. So I'll show you a few videos of my Airbnb and kind of how far your money will go in Holbox. Just heading back to our hotel here in Isla Holbox, and I wanted to show you guys what 68 US a night can get you. So keep in mind that this is actually the cheapest place that we could find on booking.com, but obviously besides a hostel. We definitely get our steps in every day. We're on the 3rd floor. All right, we're about to get our place clean, so I'll show you guys the pool area. It's quite nice. There's like a whole little seating area, and we actually haven't swam in the pool yet just because you're so close to the ocean. Watch back foot.
No.
The water's so cold but so refreshing. Our room was nice, but it wasn't anything too crazy. We actually had a safe that we usually didn't get in most places that we were staying at in Mexico. There was also a really nice view as well, but the bathroom kind of felt like it almost belonged in a completely different hotel room. It wasn't exactly the cleanest and didn't really look like it belonged. There was also a rooftop patio with a restaurant that you could chill at. I hope that you guys have a really good trip to Holbox. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content, and comment down below if you're going to be heading to Holbox. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ow now brown cow. Ow now brown cow. Ow now brown cow. Freaking hair. I had ribs for lunch, so I'm doing this. It's called limulus.